Mama. Welcome back to Surviving Disruption. I'm Stacey, and I am so happy that you are here. I originally started this channel because I was exploring my own journey through this very shocking life disruption that I was faced, and it was related to becoming a widow. And as I have shifted my I have I don't know how to say shift, but I have grown inside my own grief journey. And with that grief journey, I realized that I had experienced many disruptions as a busy mom. And so I wanted to bring to you tips that I should have been using long ago when I was raising my kids because I wanted what I know most of you want. You want to raise resilient, emotionally stable kids, and you want to do it without losing your patience with them. And that is what I'm going to talk about today is finding, you know, ourselves, do we find ourselves drained before the day even starts? Or we snap when we don't mean to. Well, if you're finding yourself reacting to your kids, then you're in the right place. Last week, we talked about the different types of stress between the acute, episodic, and chronic. And if you missed that episode, that was my live episode last Friday, um, September 26th. And you can go back to that uh, discussion in that episode where I talked about the different styles of stress. And we're going to talk about, go deeper into what stress actually does inside our body and how it shows up as a parent. So motherhood obviously is very stressful. You know, our our days have so many disruptions in them between school drop-offs, messy mornings, work emails, sports, practices, school obligations, dinner on the table. It just never stops. But stress isn't just in your head. It shows up in your body. That tight chest, that feeling that something is sitting there, the tension in your shoulders, the way your stomach, flips when you feel overwhelmed, how your jaw aches from clenching your teeth. When stress lingers, it drains your patience and leaves you feeling like you're always on edge, especially with your loved ones. And it seems like the kids more often because the daily disruptions can usually come from our kids, demanding help with homework, saying they forgot something at school and might, wanting you to go back and get it, reminding you that they have a bake sale tomorrow and we have to bring 2 dozen brownies to school. All those daily disruptions usually is what our kids, create for us as a mom. And then when we react to them and that disruptions, that's when our guilt can kick in. And so here's the truth. When you're stressed, your nervous system is sending out signals that say, I don't feel safe. It's not what you hear, but that's how your body and how your nervous system is feeling. And when that survival mode kicks in, your body reacts in very predictable ways. And we often talk about the fight or flight response, but there are actually four main patterns. There's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And moms can experience all of those every single day. So let's give some examples here. When people talk about fight, it's not that you're physically fighting with anyone. This is that snapping, the yelling, losing your temper, like shouting at your kids to put their shoes on because the bus is coming down the road. Moms in fight mode usually feel guilty after and think, oh, why did I lose that again? And then that cycle creates that overthinking cycle and can trigger your faulty beliefs of I'm not good enough or I'm a terrible mom. And that's a whole different discussion. And then there's flight. This looks like escaping. Maybe your kids are eating breakfast and you're scrolling on your phone as the time is ticking away. Or maybe it's scrolling while the laundry piles up. And then both those scenarios, you then can go into that fight mode because have lost your patience. Or maybe you volunteer to work a little longer so that you avoid the kids coming home from school and starting their homework because you know that homework start time, it can be meltdowns that are waiting for you. So you just volunteer to work a little later so that you can avoid that. But ultimately, what ends up happening is that it just delays it from starting because the kids probably don't start their homework until you get home. Or at least a lot of times, that's what happens. And then there's freeze. This is that stuck moment. Standing in the kitchen, staring at all the dishes and the dinner mess. And you know that you need to pack lunches for tomorrow's lunches, pack lunches for the next day. But you feel paralyzed. You don't know where to start. Overwhelm locks you in that place. You feel overwhelmed and stuck. And then there's fawn. This one is all about people pleasing. You're already doing enough, but you say yes to every school request. If they need a parent volunteer, you're saying yes. You signing up for every play date. You put your needs last just to make sure that maybe your belief is that that's what makes you look like a good mom. Or maybe you feel that keeps the peace is by doing everything. But afterward, after you've said yes to all these things, you're drained and possibly resentful. None of these mean you're a bad mom. These are normal. This is normal nervous system responses. It's just your way, just your body's way of protecting you. The power comes from noticing which one of these shows up for you. Or maybe it's multiple. So the good news is awareness is your first step. Once you recognize what mode of responding you are using, then you can start to shift that. And follow me along. Make sure, again, you subscribe so you do not miss any more tips like this. So your first step is awareness. Your second step, you're going to book your mission emotion call. It's inside the description. And at that free call, we're going to talk about what way do you respond or react? And how can we shift that to responding? Your third step is download your Calm and Focus Breakthrough Kit. That's another free kit that I'm offering to you that will help shift this reacting to more responding. And your fourth step, you're going to join me live on Friday, October 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, where we're going to talk about why moms lose patience and how do we get it back fast. And I'm going to provide you some other tips that day of how can we start to shift this reacting to responding.